Hey guys, so we are just hours away from HYBE's official response to Min Hee-jin's demands that ADOR be returned with Min Hee-jin as its CEO. Well, I'm going to give you the updates on that as that comes in, but I want to make sure that we don't get lost again in Jezebel and her shamanistic media plays and smear campaigns and manipulations. Why does everything have to be a lie with her? And why are there so many people willing to go along as one of her minions? You know she's just going to chew you up and throw you away. And one of those minions we are forgetting, or being led to forget, is the distinguished and honorable KBS, Korean Broadcasting System, looking not so innocent. So we really have to ask now, who is in Min Hee-jin's pocket over at KBS? Yes, KBS is Korea's national broadcasting channel. It has numerous TV operations. It creates K-dramas. It creates the news. It has radio stations. It has a global division that includes English broadcasting throughout the world. I myself freelance there very regularly for 14 years. So I've seen some things. And is there credence to these accusations that are being made by a citizen's petition wanting to find out the truth behind deleted articles regarding Min Hee-jin? Now, remember after the press conference that the New Jeans members made to say that they are being so wronged that they're subtly being bullied? Okay, well, what about outright bullying the other direction? But subtly being bullied, and they want and demand that HYBE and executives just stay in their own lane, let Min Hee-jin come back because Min Hee-jin is so important to their future, and if they don't do it by the 25th, there's gonna be something going down. So making threats, and not even being able to mix a drink. But the ironic part seems to be that things did not go according to plan for Min Hee-jin, because it looked like she really wanted to make sure that she had control over the media message yet again. But I said in previous videos that her tricks are going down in quality. They're just not sticking, and she's making mistakes. She's getting a lot more desperate. And this KBS thing is karma plus her sloppiness. Because right after that horrendous press conference by the New Jeans members, she had an exclusive interview with KBS. And she tried to distance herself and make it look like she had nothing to do with the press conference and mix in half-truths. She said, and she claimed in that article that was immediately deleted, but before it was deleted, many people were able to see it because that's what it was meant to be done, to be seen. And she had said that she advised heavily against the press conference. So she's trying to distance herself. And so it made it look like, no, these are the girls' true feelings. I had nothing to do with this, and I even went so far as to advise against it. That's where I think she overplayed her hand, because then it looked like there was legal liability that, oh, she did know that these girls were going to do a press conference, and yet she said nothing to the company. She said nothing to ADOR, and she said nothing to HYBE. Therefore, she may be in infringement of her contract, which is essentially to safeguard ADOR. And the legal experts and pundits have done an initial review, and it looks definitely like she was putting herself up to liability, which then again gives more ammunition to HYBE to cancel her stock options, which they said they already did. So mysteriously, the next day, the article and the videos were taken down. And that is a rare occasion in terms of the news business, and especially KBS, and especially as people are saying, the critics are saying, that there was no explanation as to why it was suddenly deleted. Usually there's some sort of supplementary information. It's transparency. And this is raising a lot of ire, because if there was wrong information, and that's why the media and the articles were pulled, then that starts to question KBS's professionalism and credibility. On the other hand, if it was pulled and not necessarily because of misinformation or a mistake, that basically means that there is influence peddling and things for sale over at KBS, which is even more troubling because KBS has had a history of bowing and manipulating to power and just being a mess in there. Sorry to say, but I have been betrayed more than once to, a month full of Sundays over at KBS. And yes, there are good people there. There are great news people there. Some of the work they do is actually very, very good. On the other hand, just like any other dysfunctional company out there, there's a lot of work that's not being done, even though people are always busy. They're playing politics, not even just regular office politics, but literally national politics. In short, the president of KBS comes from an appointment more or less from the president of South Korea. So imagine that the head of your company is always changing due to shifting political alliances. It makes the company so unstable and always at war with each other and always having shifting priorities and then being subject to straight up calls from the president of South Korea dictating news coverage. We saw it proven with the whole Seoul ferry incident, and it wasn't even just phone calls, which there were, and directives from the presidential office at the time to say like, hey, ease up a bit. But it was even many steps further than that. It was retaliatory to the point where the president of KBS at the time, who was just trying to let the news department just do its thing and just report the news fairly, he was targeted by President Park Geun-hye and her minions because they felt that they were being overly criticized, like KBS was being too harsh on them for, making them look like fools, letting hundreds of people drown to, when it was everybody on that boat could have been saved and they just let them all drown. And the presidential office and the minions and all the people who their political careers depending on that situation were feeling like they were being insulted. And so they went after the KBS president at the time and clawed him out through the board of directors, which was packed with presidential appointees. It was revenge. And under a different presidential leadership, because mind you, I saw things going down there for 14 years. The most dramatic I ever saw was like internally, the employees, like these are just employees, like on a good normal day, they're just normal Joe Schmoes. When they are activated, oh my God, the bandanas come out, something, maybe not a billy club, but something like, it feels like they're in like West Side Story there. And they would raid the president's offices, like the floor, like, as if they were like some of those college protester kids, and try to raid the floor of the presidential office, so much so that in the stairwell where only the employees can go, so you would never see this if you weren't an employee of the building, they straight up built a cage, like a prison cage, like a door to block it's essentially like the fire escape. So that's very, or it would be a fire exit if you had to avoid using the elevators. But those staircases, they blocked with a gate that straight up looked like a prison. And they had guards there to make sure that the own employees of KBS wouldn't storm the floor and start harassing the president. That place has got a lot of real K-drama, okay? And ironically, during that time, the actual dramas from KBS weren't doing very well because I guess they were spending all their energy doing their own drama instead of writing it, filming it, producing it, and, letting the world enjoy it. Some of that drama was pretty good. I've never seen, I was like, oh, I just saw you in the cafeteria and now you just banging on this gate. So the big criticism is that this is very unusual behavior for a public broadcaster. Remember, a lot of its funding comes from the government and comes from monthly fees that are tacked on to your electricity bill so you can't get out of it. To about $2 a month. And they've been trying to raise that for a long time. And, Korean people are very nationalistic. However, they're never going to raise that fee. Why? Because they don't trust. They don't trust, okay? It comes from trust. A lot of people don't feel like it's worth it. Not even worth more than $2 a month. And in this case, I am not surprised that the top or even mid or wherever in the chain of process this was manipulated, where Min Hee-jin was able to either use her law firm, her marketing firm, or herself to manipulate this media coverage and use the national public broadcaster as her own PR channel. I'm not surprised. And that is the basis of the petition. This is what has pissed off this person who has launched this petition against KBS. I'll leave the link. And they are demanding that there be an investigation as to why, because she's using KBS as her own personal PR machine that is taxpayer funded. So KBS has yet to respond to the petition, but it has crossed the threshold in terms of the number of signatures where they must eventually respond. So right now, what I predict is happening is that there's a lot of finger pointing going on and people trying to figure out how they cannot be the one that has to hold the bag of responsibility. So let's move on to this story about New Jeans meeting with the new CEO of ADOR on Monday of this week, Korea time, to reiterate their demands ahead of the deadline of September 25th, including their parents. And so this was another one of those exclusives that was given to one media outlet, and then it's been repeated by everybody. And so we have to trust, again, the exclusive. And so it looks like that they wanted to just give that message again. And people are saying that they're trying to find a way to get their contract revoked or get let go so that then they can be New Jeans outside. Some people even went so far as to say that Minji seemed to have left a farewell message over on their own channel instead of Weverse. I even forgot what it's called. Oh, phoning. I don't think that they're really going to be able to do it, but they're trying in some way to do it so that they don't have to pay all of that money. Apparently that's what people are saying is the end game. yeah, it would be easiest and best if Min Hee-jin could come back as CEO, which essentially she has already admitted in her Kakao Talk messages when they were scheming and plotting to steal New Jeans and the company. They're just saying like, it would be too difficult to redo the entire label because all the contracts are made with ADOR. All the IP is made with ADOR. So if they left ADOR, they would have to not only pay the fee, they would have like the headache of reestablishing themselves and losing a lot of the IP that would stay with the legal entity of ADOR. So that's why there's such a push for trying to get her back into the CEO spot of the company, even though she says it was a slave contract, blah, blah, blah. What she's trying to do is essentially keep all of the contracts and basically money that is tied to the company. If she can't have the company, then she is kind of out of luck. And remember, she wanted an original scheming and plantation. She was going to take the entire company out. And so she would be able to keep all the contracts, keep all the brand partnerships, keep all of the IP, keep everything and steal it all. Really, let's just be real. She wanted to steal. Then there's a story about Min Hee-jin doing an exclusive interview with a Japanese outlet saying that she had a 7-year plan for ADOR and that HYBE in a different article is downplaying the success of New Jeans. So you see like still media campaign, media play, smear campaign just coming out of here. But really, that is designed for us to forget that somebody at KBS is in her pocket. Somebody is being paid off or given some sort of favors or other sorts of compensation to be favorable to her. This should draw the wrath of the Korean public, especially when it's their tax dollars at play. Korean people are extremely sensitive about that. There's like, well, I don't want my taxes going to this, extremely, extremely sensitive. And yet she is able to run these media plays so that that part doesn't get into the red hot zone of the tempers of the Korean public. So see how easily she's still playing, y'all? Played. And that is why she keeps doing it. That is why she's not stopping. Because Jezebel still sees results. And why should she change if she's getting what she wants by doing her same playbook? It's up to us to not be that dumb and fall for it over and over again. And yes, leading up to this, they brought out those funeral wreaths yet again. But by now, it just looks tired and boring, repetitive, and pathetic. Honestly, extremely pathetic. Nobody believes you anymore, Min Hee-jin. And if they do, the quality of people that you can continue to fool is going down. So it's not going to have the results that you're hoping for. You're definitely overplaying your hand. And once an organization or a company like HYBE doesn't believe you anymore, you are playing a long game that you will not be able to win. So what do you guys think? What would you do if you were working with that reporter, producer, news director that was in the pocket of Min Hee-jin? What drama. Alright guys, put your comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.